On the third day after my surgery, I went to the bathroom. The corridor was dim, the walls humming with the sound of distant machines. That's when I heard it, my son's voice. He was speaking to the chief doctor near the operating room, their tones hushed but sharp enough to slice through the stillness. "He's already signed the inheritance papers," my son said. "Tomorrow morning, give him the injection so he doesn't wake up. 25% is yours." A pause. Then the doctor's low reply, steady and cold. "Done." Something in me stopped. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard. Painkillers? Hallucination? Fatigue? Anything but that. But a minute later, I heard him laugh. My son. The same laugh I once adored when he was a child climbing into my lap with toy airplanes. Now it was the sound of a man sealing his father's death. I went back to my hospital bed in silence. My pulse throbbed under the bandages, louder than the monitor beside me. Every breath felt borrowed. I tried to reason with myself. It's impossible. He's my son. The boy I raised alone after his mother's death. The one I worked 40 years for, to pay for his education, his business, his comfort. But his words echoed like a virus in my mind. Tomorrow morning, give him the injection. I lay awake until dawn, watching the shadow of the IV line crawl across the wall. Maybe it wasn't greed. Maybe he thought I was suffering. Maybe he convinced himself it was mercy. But no, there was calculation in his voice, a transaction. I remembered the documents I'd signed 2 nights earlier, barely conscious from anesthesia. He'd said it was insurance paperwork. I didn't read it. I just trusted him. Now, that trust was killing me. By morning, my body was weak, but my mind had turned surgical, precise, cold. I didn't confront him. I smiled when he entered my room, flowers in hand, pretending to be the loving son. "Feeling better, Dad?" "Much," I said, "thanks to you." He smiled, a perfect mask. As he adjusted my blanket, I studied his hands. Steady, practiced, no hint of guilt. The same hands that once trembled when he broke a vase at age 10. I watched him sign a document at the nurse's station later, something about follow-up care. I asked for a copy later, claiming I needed it for my records. He didn't suspect a thing. That night, I hid the paper under my pillow. Then I called an old friend, Mark, a lawyer I hadn't spoken to in years. "Mark," I whispered, "I need you to check a document for me." Quietly. By afternoon, he called back. His tone was grave. "James, that paper isn't for insurance. It's a transfer of estate and assets, effective upon your death." I didn't respond for a long time. "Mark," I said finally, "can you rewrite something for me? Something binding?" "Of course. What are you planning?" "An adjustment," I said, "and a lesson." That evening, my son returned. His movements were relaxed, almost cheerful. He thought tomorrow would end everything. He sat beside me, scrolling through his phone, pretending to care. I studied him. The slope of his shoulders, the small scar above his eyebrow. Details of a life I'd built, inch by inch, now weaponized against me. "I've been thinking," I said quietly, "about the inheritance." He looked up, cautious. "What about it?" "I decided to make one small change." He frowned. "Change?" I handed him a sealed envelope. "Just a final wish. You'll see tomorrow." He took it, suspicious but greedy enough not to ask. When he left, I called Mark again. "The papers? They're ready, signed and witnessed." "Good." In that moment, I felt something close to peace. Not forgiveness, clarity. Morning came. I pretended to sleep when he entered with the doctor. The syringe gleamed under the fluorescent light. He leaned close to whisper, "Goodbye, Dad." The doctor hesitated. Something about my chart had changed. "Wait," he said, voice uncertain. "The patient's code status. Full resuscitation, constant supervision. It's signed by administration this morning." My son's face froze. The nurse stepped in holding a paper. Also, sir, the hospital just received notice ownership of all patient assets has been transferred to St. Mary's Children's Foundation, effective immediately. The envelope. The one I'd given him. It contained nothing but a thank you note and a copy of the revised will. His eyes widened. Panic bloomed. What did you do? I opened my eyes. Adjusted the dosage, I said softly, of trust. They escorted him out within the hour. Fraud investigation, attempted harm, conspiracy. The doctor avoided my gaze. Guilt looked good on him, expensive, like a suit that didn't fit. I watched them go, silent. My heartbeat steady, deliberate. There was no triumph in it, only stillness. That night, I lay awake again. The machines hummed. The room felt larger, emptier. My son's voice still echoed in my mind, but this time it was fading. I'd lost him long before that corridor. I just hadn't known it. The next morning, when the nurse asked how I felt, I said the truest thing I'd ever spoken. Better, I told her. Finally better.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.